Hi, I'm John Longstreet, and welcome to another edition of PRLA Short Takes. I'm very pleased to have with me today Mark Woodworth. Mark is Managing Director, President, CEO, and founder of Woodworth Associates, and has the distinction of being the foremost authority on the lodging industry in the world. Mark's been studying hotels for about 40 some years and headed up the practice at PKF Hospitality Research Group, and then the same at CBRE Hotels. Just started his own company, and Mark, this might be your first interview since you started Woodworth Associates. Am I right?
It's certainly the first one-on-one, and it's the first one with one of my favorite people on the planet Earth. Did I say that correctly?
Well done, Mark, and the feeling's mutual. But let me ask you this. You and I have talked a lot about the industry over the years, and you've been studying it, as I said, longer than most people ever have and know more about it. You've been through a couple of recessions, a couple of pandemics, the tragedy of 9/11. What are you thinking today?
Well, I'm thinking about something that you told me many, many years ago, and that is always be sure that you know what it is that you don't know.
Wow.
Right?
Yep.
And what nobody knows today, because this pandemic is literally unprecedented in terms of what we see, not only just domestically, but also globally. So it's important to not only monitor kind of the basic measures that we would in any business, for hotels, for restaurants, and so forth. It's customer counts, average checks, occupancy levels, et cetera, et cetera. We continue to monitor those very, very closely. And the good news is that if we look at data from firms such as STR, firms such as Calibre Labs that I'm very, very close to, and we do see that the bottom has been reached in the vast majority of domestic markets. And in fact, I know you're familiar with the term green shoots. I haven't seen anything yet that I would call a green shoot suggesting that we're getting ready to experience the meaningful levels of growth in the immediate term. But I'm now kind of thinking in terms of green buds. Are there little things that are beginning to emerge that would suggest things, in fact, might be getting better? So again, I think there's a lot of confidence that we have reached the bottom. We've seen demand levels slowly increase, most encouragingly over this past weekend. And we're taping this in not quite mid-May, but this past weekend, we saw occupancy levels in a number of drive-to markets around the country increase substantially on a week-over-week basis. Still far short of where we were same time last year, 2019. But again, it's an indication that, of course, I'm here in Georgia. Our state opened up not quite 2 weeks ago now for most businesses. So, and I've seen just living here that the volume of traffic on the cars, people are in fact going to restaurants, not just for takeout, but they're actually going in. Still a lot of, I would say, trepidation about that. But I think that there's clearly evidence that's out there that's growing that people have a desire to return to normal behaviors, and where they can, and when they can, they are in fact doing that. So I think that again, we can take away is that the bottom seems to have been reached, and we should expect some decent growth in the weeks and particularly the months ahead as we monitor conditions.
Well, Mark, we don't get a lot of good news these days, and that's some good news, and it's particularly good if you're in Pennsylvania, one of the, if not the best drive-to market in the country, with the largest population center. So it should bode well for the hotels and resorts in Pennsylvania. I really appreciate that. By the way, Mark wrote an article for the Restaurant and Lodging Matters, which should come out about the same time you're watching this. So if you want the in-depth view of what's going to happen in the industry from the best forecaster that I've ever met, take a look and read the article on the online version of Restaurant and Lodging Matters. Thanks for the feedback, Mark. Really appreciate it.
Well, and Dave, first of all, thanks again for the kind words. I got a couple of questions for you. The first one is, I thought this was called Short Cakes, and I don't have mine yet. Or did I misunderstand something?
That's good. Shortcake? Strawberry.
Yeah, we'll
strawberry.
I know there's.
Yeah.
There you go. But As you know, I've spent a good part of my career really focused more on macro type things and tried to identify industry trends and changes. You have a huge organization. I know you're very close to your members, very involved with the political landscape there in Harrisburg and so forth. But so you got a lot of things on your plate, but I'm just interested, what's top of mind for you today?
You know, this might sound cliche, but what's top of mind today, tonight, tomorrow morning, all day long, this weekend is getting our members to the other side. Because there's a lot of indication that there's many, many restaurants and hotels that aren't going to get there. So the little amount of information we might get to them, the resources we might get them, might be the thing that helps them get across, whether it's helping them navigate a PPP loan or dealing with special marketing, to-go menus, takeout and delivery, which we've set up a takeout and delivery site, which we now have 1,600 restaurants participate in. All of that's what it's all about for myself and all of the members of the PRLA team right now. And, you know, sometimes, Mark, it's just picking up the phone at night and being that voice at the other end from somebody who isn't sure what they're going to do next. And it's a really, it's a terrible feeling, having been in the business so long. You know me, I've been in the business as long as you have been. And then to see so many people suffering, but then to know that we might have something to do with getting them to the other side. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, well, that's terrific. That's terrific. Hey, well, I greatly appreciate an opportunity to chat with you. That's always fun. Because of you, I've developed a lot of friends there in Pennsylvania among your membership. So please give my regards on to them and certainly best wishes as we work our way through this.
Well, thanks, Mark. I hope we get you. Our conference may be virtual this year, but one way or another, we'll get you there. You've been at almost every one over the last 6 years, and we appreciate your support. So that's it for another edition of PRLA Short Takes. Thanks again to Mark Woodworth for being with us, and make sure you pick up an online copy of Restaurant and Lodging Matters and see what Mark has to say in great detail about what's happening in the hotel and travel industry. Mark, good to see you today.
Thanks, Johnny.